wonderful!
Hello again everybody and welcome to another exciting edition of the Good Bit podcast. My name is Chris Moffat, I am your host, the face that runs the place, and I am joined again by my favourite person in the entire world, the little Twix, Michelle Grant.
Hello.
Are you okay?
I'm great.
Yeah, here we go. Last time you were on was for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I got bullied.
Well, she claimed she got bullied. She took the huff,
I got abused.
went and sat on the other end of the couch and hardly said anything the whole episode.
Because I can't do it with Ross and you.
Yeah. That's a good episode if you want to listen to that one in the back catalogue. I'm also joined for the first time on The Good Bit with Asen Rizov.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, you did a podcast before with us.
Yes, I have done.
But it hasn't been on The Good Bit. We did a podcast before The Good Bit called By The Way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was late 2015, maybe?
Yeah.
Early 2016 that you were on. We talked about films that we loved and stuff. And this is the first time you're back.
Indeed, yeah.
So it's been a long time coming. Now on The Good Bit, we all have different nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you have to come up with something on the spot that we're going to refer to you as.
Right, the director.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that. The director. Now we should explain. This episode is about the process of making a short film.
Mm-hmm.
That we did over the summer. Actually, in that last episode that you were on, we actually mentioned that we had been working on a film, and all these months later, we're here to talk to you all about it. And obviously, we understand we're going to have to give you some leeway here because you haven't seen the film, but it's fine. We worked on a film this past summer, and Asen here was our director, hence the name, and Michelle and I were the guinea pigs,
Stars of
were
the
the
show.
stars of the show. Yeah, the actors in the show, and it was called The Fourth Sign of the Zodiac. Do you want to give us a brief synopsis?
Yeah, the first of all, I suppose it would be a good idea to start with the title itself. The title came about kind of near the end of the creative process, I suppose. I mean, the whole idea started with just one image, I suppose. Any idea starts with a certain image, and any visual idea for sure. And the image I had in mind initially was of someone just waiting in a car holding an envelope. That was just the first image I got into my mind. And then I was started questioning why is he waiting, why is he there, where does he come from? And suddenly I had this idea of a character who's postponing to give away some information to his close one. I don't want to give away too much, I don't want to spoil the film, so it's quite a difficult task. But that's how it all started. And in terms of a synopsis, I suppose, without giving away too much, it's about someone who struggles to choose. I think that's going
that's going to be the IMDb description.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting though. Like, I always like hearing stories about directors and writers and stuff when they get the first inspiration.
Like where it all comes from.
Yeah, where's the first thing that they get the idea? Where did Robert Zemeckis get the idea for Back to the Future? Do you know what I mean? It's so random. Like, it's just
Indeed.
it's interesting. But that's so you've made some films before.
Yeah.
But I think this one was probably the most in terms of preparation
Absolutely,
and everything went into it.
This is like the first proper, big scale short film I've made, I'd say, in terms of
Yeah.
having someone to help with the sound, not just help but do the sound.
Yeah.
Jack
shout out to
McIntosh
Jack.
did an incredible job for that one, and also with everyone else. I think this was definitely the most demanding out of everyone.
Yeah.
In terms of acting as
we
well.
started talking about it about a year before, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a trip to the Campsies. A lot of the action takes place at the mountains in Glasgow, and we just went up there for some inspiration. It was a good day. We kind of got some ideas flowing, had a conversation. I actually filmed a lot of it.
Yeah.
And did I send you that one?
I think so, but it was like blocked for some reason. Like I couldn't open it.
Okay, I think. Oh, do you know about music? Because there's a wrestling clip in there as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll fix it. I'll make it separate and we'll watch it.
Yeah.
But that was my first idea because you brought this character to me about someone who is struggling with.
Initially, we had a different idea. Actually, the
Oh,
first
yeah,
idea
you
was
did.
about two brothers and how one brother was struggling to cope
Same
with
way.
the death of
Brothers.
his brother. Yeah, it was again pretty dark, but it wasn't. I think it lacked a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
It had a lot less potential potential than the one we ended up doing. Yeah,
So we got Michelle involved
we did. Yeah,
for some reason.
well, we're very lucky
Yeah.
to get her
Chris
involved.
works so great.
Michelle and I did a scene before.
It's
That-
weird for us not to do comedy.
We did a really funny scene before. A scene from a play called Barefoot in the Park. It's a famous film, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a film.
Neil Simon play, and we worked really well together. We had good chemistry and stuff, and we thought, let's do something in the future. And then my director here brought the query that he needed a female lead, and I suggested a few names, but the one I was leaning most towards was Michelle here. What were you thinking when I first pitched the idea? Were you up for it straight away, or
Yeah.
did you take some
I want
convincing?
to do film, so it's good
Yeah.
to start. Like
Doing independent
Yeah.
stuff and that sort of thing.
small scale stuff, and then just develop on it.
Yeah.
And it's good for us as well because we obviously done it in college and stuff, but not anything like this.
Yeah, nothing like on our own and in this sort of level.
Yeah,
Because college as well,
we
we
just
were.
got it to get critiqued on in
Yeah.
college, whereas we actually got to have fun with this.
Yeah, we got to relax with it and take our time and stuff. Because we worked together in college and we were doing plays mainly. We did a couple
Yeah.
of plays together, but we'd never done really. We did one scene on camera together, didn't we?
Oh my god, and it was the most dreadful
It
thing
was really
ever.
bad. It
But
was
then
really
It
bad.
ended up okay. It just took
Yeah.
us so long.
See, you're good at the
to
camera
actually
stuff.
do it.
See, I'm not, because you're more subtle than I am. So I'm better at theatre, I think.
Yeah, I'm not as good at theatre.
Because I'm bigger, I suppose. Bigger. I mean, literally, effectively, height-wise. But
Like 3 foot difference
yeah,
between us.
but in terms of film stuff, something I think is a weakness for me, or I struggle with, is it's just keeping it back and chilling with it. And
You don't,
being
you don't see that weakness in this film.
A couple of times we do, I think, because as an actor, I like to point out my
Yeah.
critiques and stuff. I'm my own worst critic. I've always been, even with the podcast and stuff. Like I'll record loads of episodes, and some won't even make air or make the end product because I just don't want to release them. I'm not happy with them.
Yeah.
So watching this, it's like it was kind of nice how what I'd done was out of my control.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was there. I'd done it. Do what you want with it, sort of thing.
Yeah, you didn't get to put it together.
Yeah, because
Like,
I
hate that
do
part,
my
hate
own
that
sort of
part.
editing and stuff like that. I'll always choose
Yeah.
what I want in, But if it's not
Yeah.
me, then I don't have a say. So it's not really. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But watching it back as well, I don't know how other people will take it because I'm yet to watch it or speak to someone who wasn't involved that's seen it.
Yeah.
Our sound guy who mentioned Jack McIntosh was saying he wants to show a few of his friends it, and I'd like to hear what they thought. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
Because it's weird for us because we watched it with the whole crew the other night,
yeah.
and they all had their own wee comments and stuff, but they'd all played a particular part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone's critiquing themselves.
Their own
as well.
thing. I should have did this, and then we all have our own wee funny stories as well. Of like, for example, Michelle. There's a scene where she's in like sort of the hallway, and there was about 6 people like crammed on the stairs trying to hold mics and cameras and lights and stuff, trying to hide away from the camera. So things like that are
Yeah.
funny for us to watch, but I guess you
Yeah.
wouldn't notice that. If you
It
were
actually
watching.
goes into the very nature of film itself, because what we portray is just a mosaic of episodes, which
Yeah.
are not really
Yeah.
anything remotely close to the reality of what's actually happening.
Mhm.
So that perception that we have, because we have the whole 360 perspective, we see everything,
Mhm.
Mhm.
whereas on film we just see a 2D image, which is a very small frame, a very
Mhm.
small percentage of what the
Yeah.
true reality is. So that's
Yeah.
that's a funny illusion how people are able to put themselves into that world and recreate it as something else.
Mhm.
So basically just show them 1% of that reality and then build up the 99%.
Yeah, I guess the thing I like about theatre is that it's all like linear and it's all one thing after the other.
Yeah.
That this was a massive thing in terms of doing different scenes on different days. We had a big
Mm.
schedule and stuff.
I feel like with camera though, it's more rewarding at the end. Like it's
You see
a
the final
harder
product,
process than theatre.
I agree. Yeah,
But when you watch it back, you're like, right, okay.
it makes sense
It
now.
was-
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it was worth it.
Yeah, we did a film before called Equivalent Exchange,
Yeah.
and it was okay. It was fine. I had fun. But then that was the first time I'd ever done anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into this one, I was a bit more experienced, a little bit more experienced.
Yeah.
But I still found it difficult, going from scene to scene. There's a scene
Yeah.
with Michelle and I and walking, being all happy and stuff, and then like the next day we do a scene where we were almost, fighting with each other, having an argument. So I mean that's the nature of the business, but it was difficult.
Yeah.
How is it for you in terms of you had the whole idea in your head and you'd written it all down, you'd seen it all play out before we'd done it, right?
Mhm.
How was the difference between what you had in your head to what was actually delivered?
That's,
There's a question.
yeah, that is a question. Yeah, that's certainly a very interesting question. I mean, I have a certain, I don't know, like when people keep talking about a vision, a director should have a vision, but what constitutes this vision is a whole new story, I suppose. I mean, I had a certain view in mind, a certain feeling, I suppose, but then that changes so much because you know, you as actors have your own ideas, and at the end of the day, you understand your characters far better than I could, because you're portraying the behaviour that's required.
It's different looks.
So obviously, it's almost like a constant feedback process.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a certain idea in mind, but then you go on this bouncing journey where, you know, I constantly modify what I have in mind depending what you're doing, and that's why filmmaking in general is so exciting. It's the constant change.
Yeah, it's
There's-
always
you
developing and
yeah.
always changing.
Definitely, yeah. So I don't think there's this set thing I had in mind I was trying to achieve. It was more of it wasn't really an inside out process where I started out with something in mind and tried to make everything the way it should have been. It was more of a, you know, this is what we have, and then how can we
fit the idea,
filter all
around it.
these ideas
Yeah, okay.
into something
Yeah,
that
that's
works
what it
best
is.
for everyone. Yeah. And
So you, where were you born? You were born
I was born in Sofia,
Sofia in
Yes,
Bulgaria,
in Bulgaria, yeah.
and then you moved straight to here, or did you go elsewhere?
I
before?
did, yeah. When I was 14 years old, I moved straight here.
Straight to
The
Glasgow.
first person I met in school.
Was that the first? I thought it was the
Well,
second,
yeah.
second or third. Yeah.
Well, maybe. One of
Give or
those.
take, yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, you arrived at our school, and it was like at the start of the new year, and our guidance teacher, who was a big fan of me, right? She loved me a lot, right?
Yeah.
She just came into the registration class with Asin, and was like, "So I'm looking for a sensible young man, or young lady, to take Asin around the school, show him the ropes, show him where everything is, and how to get to his classes." And she's looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh no! I'm gonna need to talk to this new person. I'm not good with new people." And she's like, "Oh, Christopher!" And I was like, "Oh yeah, hi." So we had a nice little conversation the first day. What were you thinking when you first joined here? Were you thinking, you know, have you always had that dream of, you know, being a film director in your head that you're thinking, here's a new world for me to play with, or were you just so focused on new life?
Yeah, it's actually the filmmaking stuff. I started thinking about filmmaking once I moved over. Actually, on the first few days, because I discovered Windows Movie Maker.
The classic.
The classic.
Yeah.
So I started rearranging scenes, and like, it's all through editing. And then I started rearranging films to just capture the most,
That's right. Yeah.
like a montage of the most important moments that affected me emotionally. And then bit by bit, it starts developing. And I quite like the thing that, you know, our journeys are kind of developing in parallel.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first met you 7 years ago, you were
7
still,
years,
yeah,
Jesus.
you were still thinking, you know, you weren't full on acting yet. You kind of grew on you as well, and I'd quite like to. It was similar for me as well. It kind of, you know, developed. Now it's become one of the main things I'm striving for. Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. When did you know you wanted to go into acting and films and theatre and that sort of thing?
I done it when I was younger, but then
See, I never did that. Like always did it in school, but I never.
See, I didn't. I went to a musical theatre group
Oh really?
when I was younger, and then I left, and I never really thought any more on it because I was quite like influenced by my pals. So like
Right. Okay.
they weren't doing it, and I was like, oh, okay, well I love singing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I stayed away from it from like 3rd year, 4th year, and then I broke away from those friends anyway, and I was like, right, I'm gonna crash higher drama, and then I done that, and then I started Taz with Amanda,
In Perth.
and then I met Becca and Rod. No, Becca was already in my drama class. And
Shout out
I
to
was
Becca.
like, hi, do you go to Taz? She was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm joining on Saturday.
So what year was that? How long ago was that?
That was my 5th year, so
Good 2012, 13ish. No.
5th year was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4 years ago. And then I met her and Rory, and then that's how I met Maddie
Yeah.
and Ian and Amanda.
Just started doing plays and.
And then we done Our House
Mhm.
at the Fringe, and then
It's a good one.
not online. We didn't. We done Godspell at the Fringe.
Ah, I'd like
Then
that.
we done Our House, and then applied for college,
And then we met.
and we met.
That was weird. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we
moved
met.
us through here.
We were in the same class right at the start of college.
Classy.
Yeah, class C. That's what it was. C for Chris, and Chris and Michelle. I mean, and yeah, we didn't really work together at all, really, did we?
No.
Until the new year, until like 2016, early 2016. But we became friends pretty easily, I think. But as I said, then we did a scene in second year of college that kind of gave us an idea that we could work together in the future. And I kind of like how this film kind of like is something we did together. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously Aston's going to be involved all the time because he's a director.
He's
but
there.
he's always there. But it was nice for me and you to get together and
Not
actually
like
do
you
a
wrote
thing.
it.
Yeah, no, not that he was involved at all. But it was nice for you and I to get together and stuff and actually
Yeah.
do something. We've got that for the rest of our lives.
I know.
Like, we started off doing a film together. Nice. It's a good
I
idea.
know.
Anyway, back to the film. What was your favourite part of the whole production process? My director.
Well, I actually quite enjoyed the rehearsals. Because
Yeah,
in
we
the
did a couple of
rehearsals
rehearsal
you
days, didn't
can
we?
see it come together. I think that's the most important aspect.
Play about with some
Yeah.
ideas and stuff. Yeah.
He's actually seeing it for the first time. Because you know what, how you imagined it on the page, how it looks on the screenplay is nothing like the reality of it. So I quite like rehearsals, and you kind of get to experiment a lot more.
Yeah.
Because when you're on set during the actual shooting days, it's so tight. You need to do so much in so little time. You know, sometimes the pressure just gets to you. So you just don't enjoy it as much as the rehearsal. It's more relaxed. You can bounce off ideas.
Yeah.
I also like, I do, having said that, I love the idea of just being on the set and seeing it on camera,
Yeah,
captured
for the first time. Yeah.
getting the light right, and you suddenly, there's this moment of eternal satisfaction where everything just, you just see it with the light, the
That's
angle, the acting, everything just comes together. And then you have the frustration of trying to edit it all together and
Yeah.
make sure every shot fits with every other shot. So, but then at the end of the day, you know, it's when you have it all finished, it's a very nice feeling. Yeah.
See, I love editing videos. I've always done that. I'm not particularly great at it, but I've always enjoyed doing something. Right? I've always been creative that way, I suppose. Like it's always been videos. I've never been a writer or anything. It's always been film something. Whether it be in the back garden wrestling on my trampoline, whether it be talking about movies in my room or whatever. I've always done that sort of thing. Editing vlogs. But I know how difficult it can be. So I can't imagine having to put together a film that you have an idea in your head and you know that each individual step. Where the videos I'm doing, I'm just putting together videos, clips
Well,
and stuff.
there's two aspects now, because we have the footage, like image wise, video editing, and then we have the sound as well, which is all Jack's business.
Right. Yeah.
So in terms of footage, what I did is it was quite tricky because we had over 10 hours of just real.
Yeah.
Digital video reel. So
I was
had to
thinking
go
when we were
for-
watching it a minute ago, we just watched the film before we started rolling here, but the voiceover was so many takes.
Yeah.
Did you take each, like apart from each take, or did you use the one full one?
Well,
That's just a question from me.
that was. We didn't use the same take for the whole thing. No.
Okay.
I think what we did is. Well, my memory is fading now because Jack was very much involved. with
Okay, yeah, it's
doing
more
that,
Jack's
'cause-
thing, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that we used 3 different ones.
Okay.
I think. Because we
changed
did
rooms
the
and
voice
stuff,
over, we
didn't
changed
we?
rooms, yeah. So, and the one that we recorded in the upstairs, we only had 1 take for the first part of the voiceover.
Okay.
So we had to use that one, but for the second, I think we used
Yeah.
a few. And Jack did an incredible job with the sound, and made it. You know, he added like echoes and remove all the hissing of the microphone.
Yeah,
the
he was
background
telling us
noises,
the wee
just-
things he was
yeah.
doing, adding wee things in and stuff.
Yeah,
Good,
it was,
good,
it
good
was a
lad.
massive difference from
Yeah, big difference.
because I have very little experience with sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really improved the quality.
What about you, Michelle? Favourite part of the process of making a film in general, and then also this one in particular?
I quite like the rehearsal days because we just got to have fun with it, and because we have a laugh anyway.
Yeah,
It was good to get that out of the way because that was a problem.
that's a good point. Yeah,
for us.
that's
like,
because the script is very like poetic and stuff. It's very nice,
yeah.
but then also
we needed to get past
Yeah.
the humour that we two have together.
yeah,
And
that's true.
those rehearsal days were fun to just get that out of the way and then actually start.
Can you imagine if they didn't do the rehearsal
Working.
days?
Oh my god.
How long the days would
you,
take?
you would have had so much footage.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I did do that quite a lot. Just
No, me too.
remember-
But like,
No, but remember the day and when I had to stand up on the stool
yeah.
and just kept laughing every time we put the camera in my face.
Yeah, we should mention this. Michelle's relatively short, and I'm relatively tall, so it's pretty hard to frame.
Yeah.
We had to cheat a few times, yeah. But yeah, the rehearsal days were good.
We have kind of done a short film together. Remember the one in college, and you had to
Oh yeah,
film us as if it was like CCTV, and then you were actually the guy
yeah.
that went in and.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we did a one short film for college. I was not involved whatsoever with Michelle's one. However, I filmed something. because I was tall. I had to film like a CCTV thing, so I was like holding it at the roof because I was the only one that
It
could
was
reach.
about a school shooting, remember? And you were.
And I was the
you
guy.
were
Yeah,
the-
yeah. That was good though. It was good fun. Brody did that. He edited that, and I edited our one. It was about drugs. Remember?
Oh
It
my
was a
god.
mess.
The outtakes from that
That's so
are
funny.
amazing.
Yeah. Do you have any outtakes for this film
Um.
that you could put together?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could find some.
Yeah, because I've vlogged a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we should make like a.
Not as good as the vlogs because we only run the camera
Of course,
a couple of
yeah, I know,
seconds
I know.
before. Yeah, but we have a few laughs and bursts
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which
So it's always good fun.
normal. Yeah.
My favourite part of the whole process was working up at the Campsies because it was so like, especially when we were on our own. A couple of things always feel awkward when there's a few other people there. I've gotten much better at it now due to vlogging and stuff. Like I can just do it in public now. It's no big deal. But when I first started, we did that last film,
Yeah.
the Equivalent Exchange.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare for me because there was like all these other people and they're all getting in the way and it's like
Yeah.
distracting me and stuff. But for this one, it was nice because it was very isolated and we were all in our own sort of bubble.
Well, not the first day.
But the first day we went up and it was the most beautiful day of the year, and it was perfect. It was like we couldn't have asked for a better day. And I was so in the zone as well. That was the one day I was like ready to do it, get everything done in the one day. I was so ready to do it,
Yeah.
and there was so many people just having barbecues and,
Yeah.
and
we
like
couldn't do-
dancing, having sex and stuff on the campsites at the mountains. It was just like, what are we gonna do? So we filmed what we could that day.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it was actually quite lucky because some of the shots we did the Path of Doom scene. So there's a scene where Chris walks up this long road. So what we decided to do is kind of experiment. So we went into a wood and got some nice
Yeah.
shots, which we ended
that
up
was
using
just
as well.
shoot from the hip
Yeah.
and see what happens sort of thing. We got
So
some good ones.
It changed, so it was actually for the best.
Yeah.
Turns out it was for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went back a few days later and we were fine, but.
Mhm.
I also remember the clip or the scene where you and I are walking up the path, and it was the warmest day. I just said the warmest day before, but this was the hottest day of the year. And we had jackets on and
jackets.
stuff. It was so warm. We were walking up and we just were like, "What do we talk about to remain happy?" So what did we start talking about, Michelle?
Porn.
Porn. We thought, what's going to make us laugh and smile? So we started talking about that, our history in the industry, and so it's that got us nice and eased in.
It's brilliant, you know.
So when we got eased in and stuff, then we could do it fine. That's when we got the take. We were all happy. We were just walking and enjoying ourselves, and that's the nice.
It's like you wonder those things, like people would watch that and be like, oh, they're happy.
Look, I
Like
love
little
the
did they
couple.
know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
That's great though.
I
love-
didn't know that. You never told me.
Well, I mean, it's not the
Very
only thing we were
business
talking about. We were talking about like, oh, look at the trees over there. They're so lovely. Like what we're
Yeah.
supposed to be talking about, but it was always nice to sort of.
And like you were like, oh, look at that tree over there, that's where I lost my virginity.
Which is a fib, by the way, but it's just still. I like those wee things. I've got some questions here written in by listeners, film themed, that you want to talk about here on the Good Bit mailbag.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van.
The first question is from Andrew in Glasgow, and this is a good one. You ready for this?
Yeah.
If there was one film that you could go back and redirect, which would you choose?
Oh, that's a great question.
Also, what film do you wish you had directed? It's to both of you.
Oh.
I know you're not a director, but still answer the question.
Would you like to go first?
So I'm assuming that go back and redirect means go do a better job of,
Mm-hmm.
and then wish you directed is a perfect film you wish you took credit for.
Yep, that's a very good interpretation. Right, so a film which I was disappointed with in the sense that could have been done a lot better. I would say recently, from the films I've seen, the one which has a lot of potential but was completely ruined is actually Mother by Darren Aronofsky.
of course. I didn't see it, but I wanted to.
Darren Aronofsky is someone I respect a
Yeah.
lot, especially his young films Requiem for a Dream and The Fountain and The Wrestler as well.
The Fountain's one of your favourite films.
It is, yeah.
The Wrestler, you can play The Wrestler.
Yeah,
It's a good film.
yeah. We actually used The Fountain to show some
That's right. Yeah.
clips for inspiration at one point, yeah. But for me, Mother lacked just so much. I think it was. I mean, I know people Well, I have to make the confession that this is a film like I actually walked out the theatre before it ended.
Oh,
because
really?
It annoyed me so much.
I've
I
never
just
done
wanted to get this anger out the way. I've never done that before, but
Yeah.
this film just, on a gut
Really?
level, just got to me.
It was a controversial film. A lot of
Um,
people had opinions
And
on it.
I mean, I know what he was trying to do, but I don't think he did it very effectively. I don't think it worked as a horror story at all. I don't think you combine horror with deep, symbolic, allegorical
Religion.
stories, religious, yeah. And I think suddenly just the tone changed rapidly from a mystery to a horror to some kind of sad, satirical, surreal
Okay.
film. And I don't think that worked very effectively, but I think the idea had a lot of potential with the biblical imagery and all that stuff. So maybe that's a film that, well, I don't know if I could handle, you know.
Of course, yeah, it's a
directing,
heavy.
I think it has,
but
yeah.
yeah.
But that's
Obviously,
the kind of
nature
film.
of the I
Yeah.
know.
Oh.
For me, I'll answer the
Yeah.
question as well. The one I would go back and redirect was a film that came out in 2017 called A Ghost Story,
Mm.
starring Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. And I really enjoyed the film. What it is, it's about. I'm not gonna. Should I spoil it? I mean, it's right at the start of the film. So I'll just say, Casey Affleck dies, right? So he's dies in a car crash, and he's got this big future ahead of him with his new fiancée, and like they're moving into a house together, and he's in this car crash, so
Yeah.
it's unable to follow through with these ideas. And the spirit of him, his character, comes back as a ghost, but not in the sense where it's like creepy horror film,
Mhm.
where like the ghost is in her head or surrounding her stuff. He literally has a white sheet over him, and they've cut eye holes out of the sheet, and I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah,
It's a
ridiculous,
comedy,
Yeah.
right? If people are saying, "Oh, I mean, I watched The Ghost Story and it really moved me. It's a really sad film." I couldn't stop laughing because she's. I mean, Rooney Mara's performance is
So
incredible.
can they see him?
Eh,
Can you
no,
interact? No.
we can see him,
Oh, just
but the characters
yeah.
can't.
Right.
And it goes through time and goes through different years of this house they're
Interesting.
moving into. It's a really interesting film, really, really good idea.
Right. Yeah.
But I couldn't take it seriously because every time there's a really good scene where Rooney Mara is like aggressively eating a cake. She's taking all her frustration out and all of her emotions out on this cake.
Right,
She's-
yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
And he walks in like a child, like now when you're a kid, you're kidding on you're a ghost, you've got a sheet over you and you're going, ooh, and you're kidding on you're invisible.
Yeah.
He just walks in, he's got eye holes and you can see him, he's just looking at her. And I was like, why are you doing that?
Is the film considered a comedy?
No, it's not. It's meant to be all sad and,
Right.
and romantic, and
That's interesting. Yeah.
but I couldn't take it seriously. I thought it was a satire. So there's one. I would do that differently. I would take him out of it. I think he's great. I would take him out of it and I'd put him in as some sort of spirit thing, popping up every so often.
Yeah.
It's quite an emotional film as well. I mean, it's a good film, but it's just like I couldn't. Those moments were ruined for me because I was laughing.
Yeah.
No, there's one anyway. You got one? I guess films you've been disappointed in.
See, the two I've got, I wouldn't redirect them because they were bad.
Okay.
Like, they're both such good movies, but like, one of them's Get Out,
Okay.
right?
Interesting.
I think it's such a good film.
I really enjoyed Get Out.
But I think it just gets to the point where you're like, what? Like, it doesn't get to the point
Okay.
at all until like 3/4 of the way
Yeah.
of the film, and then it just ends.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like there's enough like it's such a build up for nothing.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say obviously what
Obviously,
it, but it's such a build up, and then it gets to the point, and you're like, oh right, okay, it could have got there.
It's so much quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Good point.
I'd like to redirect that in that sense,
Yeah.
but I do think it's an amazing film.
Yeah. I really
Like it
enjoyed
is such a good concept and good idea. And Gone Girl,
Not seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I think it's really good, but the same. It gets to the end, and you're like, what?
It drags on.
What
for-
was the point in that? And it could have got to the point of the story so much faster.
I felt the
than
same
it
with
does.
that film. Yeah.
It goes through all these different ideas, and you're like, you could have cut half of them. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
none of them go anywhere, and it just kind of goes back to square one. And you're like, well, what was the point in the story?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like the writers are struggling. And just
It's
things
like,
of random
oh, okay,
things
we'll
which-
just go back to what
Yeah.
it was. That's
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Other film, I mean, I know what you mean by like it's a good film, but you would have, if you'd done one thing differently, it might have made more of the difference.
yeah.
When you said that, I thought of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Oh my
You seen
god,
that?
that angers me so much. It's
Have you
like
seen
two
that?
different
Yeah, with
stories.
the recording.
Yeah, well Cloverfield's the
Hand
first
cam,
one,
yeah.
right, and then the
Oh,
second
No,
I've
the
one.
seen
sec-
the second one.
Oh my
It's
god,
like
it's so annoying.
if it was called anything else, right, it would have been a great film.
Right.
It's all about a guy, John Goodman from
Goodman.
Big Lebowski.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Great actor.
Do you think it's two different stories in one?
That's
thing,
that's
though?
my point. So he's got this girl trapped in his house and stuff, and it's all about her trying to escape.
Right.
And it's a brilliant film. It's so
Yeah.
tense and stuff. But then at the end, the last 20 minutes,
It just flips.
it changes into a Cloverfield sequel.
Nah.
Where like the aliens and that come back and it's found footage again and it just ruins it. It's
There
like-
was
I found the
no
same with
point.
Mother. It's just the sudden change was just
Yeah.
completely random. And,
So-
It's like they just got it. Oh, same with Split actually.
Split's another one. I had so much.
Split.
Oh,
James McAvoy's performance in it is amazing, but everything else around it. There
I'm
was
so disappointed in
There
Split.
was no point in him turning into this animal.
Yeah, like
Right.
January 2017 when we were talking about like the films are coming out this year, Split and
I was
Trainspotting 2.
talking
You know,
about
like-
like him getting an Oscar for that,
yeah,
and then you seen it and you're like,
he's
well,
very good in it, but it's just
his performance is amazing, but there is absolutely no point for. It's just because the director wanted to,
he uses his own style.
and refer it back to.
We hate directors, obviously.
What film was it? He tried. He
Wanted.
linked it back to.
Wanted, I think it's called. I can't remember. M Night Shyamalan.
M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan, yeah.
But whatever, yeah.
Sixth Sense. That's
Sixth
the
Sense, yeah.
best film.
Of course.
Probably
Of course.
only good film.
And the other part of that question was which film do you wish you had directed? What is the best directed film, do you think?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Nice.
Steven Spielberg, 1977.
Nice.
Masterpiece.
Very good. I'll say Jaws.
Wish I
Steven
directed
Spielberg.
Baby Driver.
1975. Huh?
Baby Driver
I'd
is a
love to
good
have
one.
directed that.
My
That's
sister watched
amazing.
that last night. It's a great film. You see Baby Driver?
Not yet. No.
It's more like not even. It's the choreography of it,
Mhm.
like in the music. It's so like not really been done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This character's got issues with his hearing, and he wears earphones all the time, listening to a soundtrack. And the music we hear in the film is the music in his ears.
Yeah, many people recommend it to me.
Really
I
good
have it
film.
on my list.
I think
Yeah.
it's like it's a really new way of directing.
Yeah.
I've not seen it much,
Right.
but it's really good.
But yeah.
Interesting. I'll have a look at it definitely.
Next question. Ed from Perth. You might know him. What's easier, writing, editing, or directing? I myself prefer writing. I myself prefer writing, and I've begun writing a novel.
Right. Well, good luck with the novel.
Yeah. Submit that to
No,
festivals.
I couldn't write a novel myself. Yeah, it's very tricky to write a novel. I suppose.
Yeah. So it's what's easier, the writing process of a film, editing it, or directing it?
The one I enjoyed the most is directing
Of course.
it.
Yeah.
Because
you are
I
that-
enjoy it so much, I don't
the
think it's the
director.
hardest. Yeah. Between writing and editing, they're just so different. They're polar opposite for me. Because editing is all about condensing and cutting out as much as you can
Yeah.
to make it work, whereas writing is trying to put in as much as you can to make sure you have enough
That's
to
a
work
good
with.
point. Yeah.
Um,
What a stupid question, Ed.
no, it's a good question.
Talk about him.
I'd say I enjoy writing more because when you write something, it could turn into anything. Whereas with the editing, it's more limited.
You've got a goal with editing. You've got to stick to it.
Exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
Although it's more enjoyable in the sense that you actually see something finally come together because you have the writing and then casting, rehearsing, shooting, lighting
Yeah.
everything, and then it's been such a long journey that it's kind of nice to see the result at the end.
I would always get frustrated with the editing process if like the software wouldn't work or it's not doing exactly what you want. Or I'm okay with it now because I'm better at it now. But back in the day, if I couldn't figure out how to do something,
Yeah, you get anger issues.
how can I not do this? Yeah, I'm okay now. But I think back in the day, I think I had some anger issues punching walls. And
No,
stuff.
editing can be horrible, especially if it's not working out.
Yeah,
you
of course.
need to make it.
Yeah, but thanks, Ed. Next question, back to the film. What snacks were on set? And that's from Ross from East Kilbride.
What snacks? Well,
Yeah.
we had cheese.
Yes, we did.
We had like cheese.
We
What
had
do you call them?
cheese.
Cheddars, mini cheddars.
Many cheddars, not cheese. We had,
Sorry,
we had cheddars.
Do you
Yeah.
not have cheese as
We
well?
have
No?
Snickers.
Snickers,
Snickers, yeah.
little Twix,
Little
Twix.
Twix.
Twixes.
Little Twixes.
Some Iron Brew.
Ritz.
Well, we got
Ritz,
Twixes the day we were in bed.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. We didn't even know.
Oh,
that.
that's
I
That's not even in it, yeah.
seen that, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's my fault because I didn't light it
I totally
good
forgot
enough. I couldn't light it. The thing is, I used so I used two different sources. One of which had so one of them was a proper blue LED
Mhm.
based light, whereas the other one was a white LED light with the blue filter, and the color temperature between the two was so different that the white balance
Okay.
was just destroyed. And I think it would have added too much. I
That
think it
sounded
too
bad.
much of a
That
distraction
was like
as
two
well.
actors being like, "Where was my moment?" That's not the case.
And we spent a good hour on it, so
yeah.
it was
It was good. It was.
But I
good
think even if it had been lit up properly, I think it would have actually being too much rather than contributing
Okay.
in terms of the rest of the story.
Fair enough. It's your perspective. I obviously don't know how it looked, but it's my one moment to be in bed with Michelle, and it was caught on camera. My moment got cut. And finally, from David in Manchester, what movies in 2018 are you looking forward to the most, or which aren't you? I personally can't wait for Infinity War. However, I am nervous that it will be bad.
Right. I'm actually looking forward to a film called The House Jack Built. It's a film by a Danish filmmaker called Lars von Trier.
Yeah, you
My
like him.
favourite filmmaker.
You like him, yeah.
So it's I have a lot of expectation for that film. But there's also a few other ones. There's Downsizing Alexander Payne.
Downsizing, I'm seeing it on Thursday.
Yeah,
Matt
that's
Damon.
promising. Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
So Infinity War's a big one, the Avengers film, Marvel. So it's again, it's going to be a hit or a miss. They're either going to nail it or they're not. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's Black Panther coming out. The Incredibles 2. You ever seen The Incredibles?
Yeah, I've seen The Incredibles.
Incredibles
Way
2.
back
Yeah, I
in
love horrors, so I'm really excited for Halloween because see when I was younger, like Michael Myers petrifies me.
There's a new one coming out?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
really?
the last one coming out, and I'm so scared of him, and I want to go to the cinema and see it and
Yeah.
just face him.
When's It
But,
Chapter 2 coming out?
I don't know, but the fourth Insidious is coming out.
I've never
In
seen
fact-
Insidious.
It's actually a really good trilogy for.
I'm not a horror
Horror.
fan.
I like horrors.
In October this past year, I did Horror Movie Month. I did a video diary, right? It was 53 minutes long. I put it on YouTube, and every time I watched the horror film, I documented what I thought of the film. And I watched like The Shining for the first time,
Right.
Psycho,
Right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I hate horror films.
You didn't like The
I
Shining?
loved The Shining.
Why did
And
you
I-
love The Shining?
And I loved Psycho.
Why?
All the others.
What did you like about them?
Because every horror film I want to end straight away. Like, I hate them.
Right, okay.
But for The Shining, it was 3 hours long, and I didn't want it to end.
Would you consider it a horror film?
Yeah,
So, in what way was it different from the horror films you've seen?
because it's psychological,
Right, okay.
right? So it makes you think. I like films that make you think and stuff.
Yeah, it does.
And-
So you prefer like psychological thrillers than
Probably,
horrors?
yeah. Like, I mean, I can watch. I'm assuming Saw as like a gore fest or whatever, but I wouldn't like.
Saw is really gory.
But that wouldn't scare me necessarily. The psychological thing scared me more,
Yeah.
right? So I was petrified watching The Shining because that's the scary film. But then watching a film like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which isn't, it's more sort of a we're going to get you and kill you
Chainsaw
sort of
stuff,
thing.
yeah.
It's not as scary to me.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the cinema to see a film called The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Right, yeah.
Write that
Apparently
one
that's
down.
really good, yeah.
You'd really like it.
Yeah.
One of the most bizarre films I've ever seen. I consider that a horror.
It's
I talked
by
about
a
it.
Greek filmmaker who made The Lobster.
Yes, that's a weird one.
Oh, that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently he's very interesting. I haven't really checked his work yet, so...
It's
yeah,
very weird,
yeah.
in a good way. Because there was a film that came out in the spring of 2017 called A Cure for Wellness,
Yeah.
and I
Gore
hated
Verbinski.
it.
Yeah.
I
But you
hated it.
Dane DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan, the lead actor, I hate him.
That's Gore Verbinski though, he's Pirates of the Caribbean director.
I don't know, just wasn't a fan at all. So going back to see another weird film,
Yeah.
I wasn't looking forward to it, but I really enjoyed Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
So check that one out if you can. That's a
I
good
will
one.
do. I will.
Really bizarre. So yeah, what was we talking about? Your horror movies, yeah. So that's my kind of perspective on that. Like I can enjoy them if I'm thinking about things and I'm having opinions on them,
Yeah.
but I don't really have time for just random gore fests.
See, it's
you know.
definitely, in my opinion, actually, it's the hardest genre to do well.
I agree. Yeah,
To make a good horror, like
everything's been done.
they don't come often, but it's because it's like it's so hard to scare
Yeah,
and
that's
get
true.
into someone's head,
Like it.
rather than just like so many of them are just like jump scares,
Yeah.
which isn't actually what's scary.
Mhm.
Like what you said, and you get in your head.
They'll make a whole film about jump scares, which will do well because they're jump scares and people like jump scares, but it's not going to mess with someone's head. You
Yeah.
know, I guess
You're not
that's
going to
the intention.
remember it.
You need to come
Yeah.
away actually that's in your head, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. So, what's your favourite horror? If you had to pick, gun to your head. It's like the X Factor.
See, that's not. I was going to say Silence of the Lambs, but that's not horror.
I've not seen it.
That's psychological thriller. But I don't know. I used to.
You could
Yeah,
say it's
it's
a horror.
it
You
is.
could,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially
You
near
should
the
watch
end. It's very interesting because I actually Howard Shore, who's a very famous composer, and he did the music for Sounds of the Lambs. I had the
Hannibal's on Netflix now as well.
Okay.
Hannibal, yeah. I actually was very lucky to meet him a few months ago, Howard Shore, and he actually gave a masterclass on
Really cool.
how he composed music for some of his films, and he actually talked about the scene in Silence of the Lambs where she's in the house of the killer,
Yeah.
and she's like green light kind of night vision camera. That's how it's shot,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of silence. So he talked about the power of silence in a film and how that adds to suspense.
There's a lot of silence
Yeah, really
and a lot of
does.
lambs.
Yeah,
So many lambs.
Doing the lambs. That's cool.
that was very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you watch Stranger Things?
I've not seen the second season.
Me neither.
Because
But I enjoyed it.
Ross, me and Ross watching it.
Yeah. Would you ever consider directing a horror?
I don't think I.
You'd need it
have
rated
the-
first, wouldn't you? That'd be the tough
Yeah,
part.
even I
You
don't.
see, like Psycho.
Yeah.
Watch Bates Motel.
Bates Motel, Rachel, my sister's hooked on it right now.
So good.
Yeah.
Like, so good.
Yeah.
Psycho was awesome. I feel as if
But
like.
Psycho's more of a thriller again.
Yeah, I know, but I guess it just kind of folds into like a classic
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
And Hitchcock's one of those guys that I've said this before, but I repeat myself all the time on this thing. But like Hitchcock's one of those guys that, as a film lover, you feel like you're implied to go, "Oh, Hitchcock, yeah, Hitchcock's great. I love Hitchcock."
I don't
right?
feel that way about him.
But I did that for years. Oh, I love Hitchcock, and then someone would go, "What Hitchcock film have you seen?" And I'd be like, and I wouldn't know what to say because I just thought you're supposed to say you like Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Then you get your own opinions. and stuff.
Psycho's a good film, yeah, but I think Hitchcock's overrated in that sense because I think that the true kind of master of cinema is actually Charlie Chaplin, and he's
Yeah,
underrated
good
in
call,
that
yeah.
sense because he's actually the first man who
Pioneered it.
pioneered it, and Hitchcock is really fancy and really technical, but I feel he very often lacks substance behind
Okay.
a very excellent technique, really.
Yeah, well, I asked Santa to bring me the Hitchcock collection for my Christmas, and he never did it. So
Yeah.
we are not on good terms right now. So. But yeah, thank you for all your questions, for sending them in. Please continue to do so at the Good A Bit Pod on Twitter. And anything else you want to add? I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Cool.
Well, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for the film.
Yeah, well,
was
thank
a
you
great experience.
as well. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
great experience for me too.
I had a great time. It was like a sort of a thing that defined my year.
Yeah,
This
we
is
should
a-
thank all of everyone,
yeah,
Chris, Michelle, Jack McIntosh for the sound, editing,
Everyone.
and David Petrie and Anis and Ross and Michael as well. So
everybody was always
Everybody was-
always good in helping
Yeah,
us and
definitely,
on the ball sort of thing, which was really helpful.
yeah.
But as I said, 2017 was a big year for me. I did a lot of good things, and one of the things that really like sort of defined it was the film, because
Yeah.
it took up loads of the summer, but like in a good way, because we were
Yeah.
being productive and we were doing something.
Yeah.
So it's good. So thank you for putting it together. Thank you for involving us,
You're
and
welcome.
here's to the next one.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.